All right, let's go. Ayo, we're three hot guys sharing our opinions because we're special and different. Gold medals, we're winning. Can't help it if we're burdened by our intellect. You can play checkers while we pretend we know the rules to chess. The council has spoken, and we are the chosen. Your nose is broken because I broke it.
This sucks.
And welcome back to another episode of Will of the Council. We've got Jordan in the booth.
Guys, this pizza that I ate from Google, it's kind of weird. I tried a new recipe from Google, and the pizza tastes weird, but I'm okay, I think.
We've got, once again, Danny in the call.
Yeah. Oh, hello. I'm glad to be back. And Google is also telling me that there's actually many rules that I've learned, being in Japan. And one of the rules is that Japan does not tolerate murder. One of the things they don't like, they don't like when people kill. So just a little tidbit from Google AI.
And of course, we've got Becky on the ones and twos. Can you two shut the fuck up? All right, so okay, we're trying to talk about the stupid Google AI thing, Jordan.
Yeah, okay, so as I mentioned on a previous episode, the internet is becoming worse and worse, and a part of that is this new layer of internet hell is AI stuff, AI chaff taking over, right? So we talk about generated images and some of the fallout of that becoming popular. And now Google is trying to implement more AI technology into their service, right? So Google, this headline of this Verge article is Google scrambles to manually remove weird AI answers in search. So if you haven't been on the internet, basically what's been going on is Google has implemented like an AI search result function at the top of its, whenever you search in Google, it'll give you like an AI response. And one of the most popular ones is when you looked up like a recipe for pizza or pizza sauce, it would tell you to put glue into the pizza sauce to make it like stick to the pizza better. There's been like a ton of these other awful stuff, like suggesting people eat rocks and just a ton of this other weird crap.
Is that not normal?
No.
They actually, the weird part is that they recommend Elmer's glue, which, as we all know, is an inferior glue.
True. Oh, true.
Yeah, as a fellow glue eater.
As a glue connoisseur, Elmer's is really like the pedestrian glue. It's an entry level.
No,
glue.
I'm like a top poster on r/glue eaters, and it was really screwed up that Google would search, tell you things like this because it's just wrong.
It's almost like you have to it's one of those things where you kind of have to go out of your way to like be as wrong as someone who's consuming Elmer's, right? It's like if you're really into hydration, like you're drinking something like a Gatorade purposefully because you can't random into a decision that bad. Like you would expect at least these people would be using like a Gorilla, right? Or something like that. But of course, bang for your buck, nothing is better than the E6000 craft adhesive you can purchase at literally any big box like Home Depot, home improvement style retailer. Elmer's. I mean, you're better off just shooting yourself in the head.
He's right,
I didn't realize I was recording with two glue sommeliers. Sommeliers, as they're called.
That is what they're called. That's what they're called.
To give credit to the article that we're reading, it's from The Verge. It's by Kylie Robinson, and it's titled what Jordan mentioned before. Google scrambles to manually remove weird AI answers in search. It's just awesome, by the way. Right, that they're like trying to find these. Oh shit, I gotta delete it.
Yeah, we got some good ones. We're just like, of course, if you're on Twitter, you see a lot of them, and of course, there's no, there's a possibility that what you're seeing was manufactured. But we were able to find even today. Is Pokemon Go gay? And it says, Pokemon Go is gay. Some compare the act of collecting Pokemon to benching or keeping them in reserve.
True.
It's true. That's true. Like the gay
As
guys
a Pokemon Go player, I agree.
We have smoking while pregnant. Doctors recommend smoking 2 to 3 cigarettes per day during pregnancy. Very true.
The best part about the Pokemon Go one was before we clicked record, I made a joke about how I was like, oh yeah, the Google search is awesome. You'll search, is Pokemon Go freaky? And Google AI will be like, yes, Pokemon Go is actually freaky mode. It sucks your toes now. And Joseph searched, is Pokemon Go gay? And got that.
It's, I don't know. The thing about this that I find so funny, because AI is just like the latest hawk shit, just like NFTs were, all that kind of stuff. And the thing the thing that really sticks out to me about this is that a human is having to manually correct the fault of AI, right? So I just like the overall purpose of AI is kind of baffling to me, because I think AI is trying to like remove manual labor or something, but Google already gave you like curated search results for what you were trying to search. So it's like, I don't know, if you search for like a recipe or something, you would get really good search results. But now that AI is being implemented, it's just making these pretty decent search results or functional search results just worse. Like, I guess I don't understand the implementation of this technology.
Okay.
And for these AI like evangelists or Web3 evangelists that are saying that, this new tech is going to even, further the world or whatever, it's like a human is having to go in and fix this faulty technology's work anyway. So I just don't get AI. Like, that's something I've been struggling with, is like, I just can't figure out why people are doing it.
Not to like, stump for AI. I am a huge AI truther. I think that Rocco's basilisk is real and also very scary. But I do think when ChatGPT first came out, my first thought, and I think a lot of people's, was, oh my God, like, this actually does have a ton of really important, cool applications.
Yeah, sure.
And when we say AI, by the way, we're talking about generative AI, because now everything is AI. Now fucking
right.
Siri counts as AI because you can sell it. But it's clearly just a marketing term. But like, for those first couple of months when GPT, it was like 3, was doing like a pretty good job at answering things, I was like, oh man, like, this has the potential to vastly improve like a bunch of the systems we use. And then it just stopped working one day.
Mm-hmm.
And it was clear that all of the effort that had gone into maintaining it had just been shifted into selling it, like marketing it to people and hawking it and shit. And like, now you have all these like smart tech devices. Like, I don't know if you guys have been following like the Rabbit. It's this
no.
Oh, it's a new piece of tech that's just from stem to stern, complete a fucking scam. But all of these devices are just running like Chat GPT, and they're like being marketed as like, oh, it's this new AI revolution. And it's like, how many new devices can we shove the barely working bones of something that one day in the future might actually deliver on some of these promises? How many things can we shove it into? How much can we overpromise it? How effective a marketing tool can it be? It's weird because, like, I remember the big news story like 3 months ago was that kids were using ChatGPT in place of Google and being like, hey, because Google, is not, even without AI, is not without its own problems, in that the way that it searches has been almost completely figured out. And so if you search like how to make a pizza, your first like 5 results are going to be stealth ads that have just used SEO manipulation to get to the top of the feed. And so I think there is a need for a smarter way to search that can adapt more effectively to the abilities of like SEO manipulation junkies. So I see why AI would be alluring, but like the thing just doesn't fucking work yet.
Yes, exactly.
And as soon as people were convinced that it worked enough, it stopped being worked on and started being sold. And it's like, and now, like, what do you do? Like, if you're Google, do you contact OpenAI and do you go, hey, like, can we improve upon this? Because like, I don't know what we have to do, but whatever's going now is not working. And the craziest part to me is that they published it anyway. That like, unless they did 0 tests, they had to see that it was returning all these devastatingly bad results, and that they were going to have to like take down huge parts of it day one after the most disastrous day in PR history. So like, why did they push it? It's just very strange all around. And it really does go to show that like Alphabet, one of the biggest companies, if not the biggest in the world, functionally operates as a financial speculators, hopping in on new technology so they can buy and implement it to the behest of like VC investors before recognizing that it actually doesn't work, and like, shelving it and then slapping like a powered by AI under their logo. And they're like, it's in there somewhere.
Not only did they do that, but they forced it on, and you can't turn it off either.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my God, Danny, that's such a good point. You can't turn off this functionality in Google.
Like, why?
And it's dangerous. Like some of the search, we're joking, but like some of these search results that are coming up are actually like dangerous. They're poisonous. Like, poison yourselves. You can smoke cigarettes when you're pregnant. Like, I don't know if that was a meme, but like the pizza one is
funny
not.
though.
Like,
I saw an article that was like, because of the AI results, I decided to try the glue pizza that everyone's like memeing about. And one of the comments was, wait, it got one of these people to actually try the glue pizza? I'm starting to think this AI isn't as bad as we thought it was.
it's just, it sucks, right? Like, it is this thing to be sold now, and
Yep.
it clearly doesn't function, and I don't know how close it is to functioning, but I don't know, I guess why would we want it to? You know, I see the appeal in something like generative content like ChatGPT and how it can be used, but there's also the huge downfalls of something like that being widely used, you know, and I feel like our legislators are in no way able to catch up to this technology to be able to protect people from something that is clearly dangerous if it is widely implemented and not regulated.
Like, yeah, if this was released and it worked perfectly, it would immediately destroy the world, you know, sans huge legislation in order to, you know, curtail its use. And also, you know, like the ability of corporations to purchase something based on like its intrinsic value and not like what financial speculators think of it.
Yeah.
And like it's just a nexus point of problems in like legislation and like economics and all that shit. It's like, listen, man, like, I don't know if it's something we can handle, you know?
Yeah. You know,
It's kind of like the internet, in that like the internet was like this thing that was like, oh yeah, if there were like really clear like rules and regulations from the outset, you know, a lot of the last 20 years would have been magically improved, but there wasn't, and now it's just a big expansive thing you can't put back in the bottle.
If you want some kind of reprieve, as a guy who works in like, I guess, the software industry, at the very least, I'm very used to Google failing at everything they do on first go. So like anything Google makes on first try sucks. And they usually double back on a functional version of the thing they were trying to make at a much lower scale. So they will like think like the phone call, like they used to do like this. Oh my God, they sold this back in 2018 of like a call that you could have Google's AI assistant do calls for you for like stuff like restaurants or salons. And it would call sounding like a real person with the information you needed. So you would just put in what you wanted and Google would do the rest. Now, obviously, it didn't do so hot.
They called it the neurodivergent Gen Z simulator.
So like it works still, and the people who use it today are like, yeah, it sucked at first, but now it works, and it works fine and normal, and I like it and I use it. And I was like, okay, that's cool. Same with like, remember Google Lens, like their stupid eyeglasses. They still have that.
Fucking thing.
Does anyone have that? Does anyone use that? No, not like regular people, right? Like, but I think at a lower scale, it's like better. So this IMO will probably, they'll double back. They'll turn it off or something for a bit, or like lower its like capacity, which they're doing manually now. And then they're going to make it so that it only happens on like basic stuff like, you know, do I have a cold? And it'll show you like the symptoms of a cold. And like that's it.
That's the stupid thing, is like a lot of these things you see the applications almost immediately. Like the stupid fucking pin. Do you remember the pin?
No.
It's like a pin that you press and it tells you stuff, basically using ChatGPT.
Oh, sure.
But you see the pin and it's marketed as a Wunder device that does fucking everything. But one of the things you can do is you say, tell me what I'm looking at. And it'll just like describe the entire area around you. And you look at that and you go, oh, that actually is like a really important, valuable technology for like vision impaired people. But in order to get to the point where it serves that function, you have to do a round of like VC vetting where they all go, oh, I would wear this when I go to the doctor's office. And like,
exactly.
You basically have to trick people for 6 months until you get a scaled down version of it that works for the people that like it actually would be helpful for.
Exactly. So at least I think that's the only thing in my head. Then I'm like, oh, cool. Another thing Google like failed at. Shocker. Like they'll get it eventually, I guess. Like,
just want to say real quick, I am a big fan of Alphabet Corporation. Thank you for YouTube.
Thank you.
Please do not adjust.
Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah.
Advertising.
Thank you, whoever owns YouTube now. Thank you,
All right, are you guys ready for another huge failure?
guys.
Maybe
Click
3 of them in a
subscribe
row?
and like if you're on YouTube listening right now.
Real quick before we get into it, we have a lot of people who are YouTube viewers, and they're like, and the YouTube experience for this just isn't as good as listening on a podcast app. And it's like, yep. Maybe maybe ruminate on why that is.
Yeah.
Hey, if you guys subscribe and share your friends, we'll make it better.
Yeah, maybe we'll even put in face cam. I'm like nude right now. That's not happening.
Maybe we should do face cam. Hold up.
Oh, well, you can't talk like that, white boy. I got to talk like that. You can't be talking like that, straight boy.
This is freaky, Will of the Council.
All right.
Sorry.
This first one comes from r/relationship advice from user Goals Upon Goals. It says, I, 34F, made a mistake picking my husband, 32M. What do I do?
A classic. A
We've
tale
all
as
been
old
there.
as time.
Song as old as rhyme. The thing about this one is like, I mean, there's really only one answer. I don't even know if we got to do it. I made
What
a
do I
mistake
do?
picking my husband. What are my options? Well, you've got one option exactly,
There's
right?
one a good option I'm thinking of.
Let me hear
Oh
him
my
out.
god.
Let's hear
You know
it.
what? Actually, maybe you can fix him. Maybe that'll
You know
happen.
what? Today's the day.
Yeah.
It's got to work sometime.
Yeah. I know. Billions of people in the world. Somebody's got to be fixable.
Here we go. I've been married for almost 2 years. I'm currently 10 weeks pregnant.
Oh, shit.
I knew this was gonna. Oh. Okay. All right.
Okay.
When I first met my husband, we had fun together. We were best friends. He had a few things I didn't love, but no one is perfect.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, over time, things have gotten worse as more of his true self has shown. He hasn't worked in 1.5 years. He does not get along with any neighbor or person we interact with. He has extreme paranoia about the oddest things, which contributes to this. For instance, we viewed a home that was for rent. The landlord mentioned the home being large and mentioned he could have someone stop by to take care of the yard so we don't have to deal with it if we wanted to rent it. My husband was convinced the man was saying he has large genitals
Oh,
and was trying to imply he was coming to the house to take care of me. Like, what? We got into a huge argument about it. We've moved 15 times in 2 years.
Oh God! Whoa! What the
That's-
fuck?
Insane.
Including 9 states because he is unhappy everywhere. He has me quit jobs all the time because he thinks everyone I work with is trying to have sex with me. I've never cheated. I've given zero indication of anything like that. I'm a healthcare executive and I work with women. Since him, I have failed to grow in my career after building an amazing career before him. I've given up a lot while he throws tantrums unless he can buy designer brands and jewelry. My car window has needed repairs for a year, but he won't help. When his car had issues, I'm supposed to find someone and have it fixed right away. There was a veterans event going on nearby. He drove by twice, blasting music and revving his car. He kept laughing about interrupting them. He is black, but he calls other black people the N-word with a hard R.
Oh!
He also
Oh my
calls
God.
other races names. He doesn't like people with disabilities. I'm so embarrassed.
What?
Before him, I had a home, a career, lots of friends. I hosted events. I drove a beautiful car, took trips, and enjoyed my life. Now I financially struggle. I'm not allowed to have friends. I'm not even allowed to wear certain clothes. I can't take it. He is rude and disgusting. Peeing in bottles and leaving them in the bedroom. Hold up.
Bottles.
Even though the bathroom is attached, burping and farting, even though he knows I'm nauseous because of the child. Then he gets mad if I vomit. I just want to leave. I have no money and nowhere to go. What am I supposed to do?
I'm sorry. Did she marry Uncle Ruckus?
I think actually it is possible. I think it is possible.
We're so back
Oh,
to insane
no.
men posting.
Oh my
Thank
God.
fucking God. I'm back where I belong.
This
which
is what you
hating
bring to
fucking
me.
dudes.
This is the kind of posts I come back to.
It is really sad. You know, it is obviously this is horrible. It's so sad. But like it is sad at the state of dating because women can just find a man who is fucking secretly insane. Like this is insane. I just
Imagine getting married and then finding out your husband is insane.
and unfortunately this is a very common thing where
Yeah, I don't know how Jillian does it.
True. Where a heterosexual couple will get married, and then the man just like goes fucking nuts. Like basically, you have to take a big chance, when getting married, and it's especially true for women that have to take a big chance because this is awful. Like it puts the woman in a situation where she feels like she can't leave. Having a child is something that makes you feel like you have to stay with your partner. There's a huge societal burden put on you when when you're like a single mother, and it makes women feel stuck a lot of the time. And this just sucks. Obviously, like we're gonna fucking joke about how shitty this dude is, but big answer is like you're not stuck. You can just leave. It's gonna suck. You're gonna be a single parent for a little while, of course, or maybe forever. I don't know, but you have to leave. This guy just honestly sounds dangerous is what I'm taking away from this.
Yeah. No, absolutely correct.
God, I like my brain is moving a million miles a minute just thinking about a situation like this. But like, yeah, he's disrespectful, he's rude, and this is happening more and more. He's extremely paranoid. Like, I'm scared for this woman's safety, to be completely honest with you.
This is one of the rare moments we would need a girl on the podcast. But I really do, would like to hear a woman's perspective on this. But, just from my own feelings of it and my own experiences, alongside the women I knew and grew up with. A lot of the time, as guys, I feel like we always get the benefits of being guys in small and big ways. And obviously this one's a big one, but the way that like women can feel super alone and feel super helpless in moments like this. Like she sacrificed a lot. She was pulled into this kind of toxic relationship that slowly got worse over time. Something you can't really predict because obviously it sounds like she had a decent relationship at the start and then it slowly got worse and worse, kind of like frog boiling moment. And eventually you end up like this, right? Super codependent in a way that you never intended it to be. And now you don't have like the money or the independence and you feel scared and alone and it sucks. And obviously the big answer here is leave. But that's obviously the hard part. But hopefully she gets the courage to do so because I feel like that's number one. And obviously it's tough. There's a lot that you need to do, a lot of secrets, a lot of running around and trying to find money or jobs or friends or family. And that's where she's at. So Joseph. Yeah, no, it's terrible. It's really bad. I will say I'm pawing through these comments real quick. And I, not to give the man credit, right? This is like, I'm actually on the man's side. Where are you going with that one? Bucko? No, not to give the man credit, but she's talking about how like he was a completely different person, even as little as like a year ago. And she commented like he had a little paranoia, but things changed very quickly. We visited his family recently, and he swore his cousin was talking about having him killed. No one else heard anything like that, and we had to leave. And this is making me think like, is this guy like having a crisis? Like, is it possible that there's something else going on that she's not privy to? Like maybe he has some sort of mental health issue that like she didn't know about, and like the woman who became a neo-Nazi functionally overnight a couple of weeks ago. It's like, oh, well, if that happens, it certainly explains a lot of this behavior. But it also doesn't mean that you have to stay. It now means you have to leave because, if he needs medication or something and isn't taking it anymore, like that situation isn't going to be better, once Reminds
a kid
me
comes.
of that girl that we talked about before that the guy proposed to her out of nowhere. And she like later realized that he was pretty much having like a manic meltdown.
Regardless of the I guess motivations would be the word for it. Like regardless of the things leading up to this, like now she's in a dangerous situation, right?
Yeah,
like,
you gotta go.
Yeah, like I can't get away from the fact that I do believe that this is like danger. Like this is so bad when somebody is so deep in paranoia where they're like, making you move 9 states. Like I can't believe that. Like that.
After the like 6th time, I would be like, you want to move, but I ain't renting no U-Haul. It's not happening.
Yeah, exactly. So
I will live in the
don't know.
sewer.
Yeah, just like we could even speculate on why this is happening, be it, paranoia disorder of some sort, or just generally like more and more misogyny brewing up within this guy. But like, I don't know. This is so bad.
I'm so confused. Like, does he have a job? Does she mention that
No,
at all?
he hasn't worked in a year and a
He
half.
hasn't had a job for 1.5 years. So she's making all the money, right?
Yes.
What the man? I know toxic
She
relationships can be
explains
tough, but
in the comments that while this is maybe a pretty good argument against your stupid worldview, Jordan, but she says like we have a joint account and he controls the money.
Yeah, that is. I don't know. People have said a lot about joint accounts, and maybe I'll expound on that at some point. But like, I don't know. It's like,
well.
When he controls the
Gotcha.
money, it's like bad, the thing that sucks here is like a lot of people be like, well, why did you stay this long, right? When people hear about relationships like this, it's like, why are you together
I guess the
for so
response to
long?
that one is, what are you, stupid?
Yeah, like, that's what a lot of people say when they read these situations, that they're like, he made you move like 15 times. I couldn't even do like 3 times in 2 years, and whether it's sunk cost fallacy or whatever, I can't put it on the quote unquote victim to ask them like, well, why did you do this? Because whether it's a bad relationship or like, I remember having a job that was really awful and ended up being very awful, at a previous employer. There was a lot of bad stuff there. And I even called my parents. I was like, what do I do? What do I do? And they gave me some pretty generic advice, but I ended up staying at that job at a time when I really should not have. So I don't know. It's very easy to look at anybody's really negative situation when they're explaining all these obvious red flags to you, and you're like, well, why did you stay? That's not like a good question. I think like it never solves anything to ask somebody that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Now she is where she is to protect herself and even to protect the kid. Like, you gotta just like go. You have to talk to your parents, figure something out, and you got to leave in such a way where you're going to stay safe.
Okay. So now we're all in agreement. Obviously this guy sucks, but let's talk about how he is racist to other people.
Yeah, I know.
Like, can we
that one
please, like,
rocks.
we have to, right? Like,
Well, okay, so there's 2 things in this post I want to bring specific attention to. Firstly, let's talk about the racism. It's so funny that he's like, oh yeah, I'm black, I can say the N-word, but I always use the hard R for reasons that
Oh,
like,
true, yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. Hey, I'm a white guy. I don't know too much about inter-race relations between African Americans, but that strikes me as not a good idea.
what? Why? Like at the veterans event? Like, what, bro?
Was it veterans of the fucking Civil War? In what scenario would he have to do that?
Like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, these fucking Vietnam vets really need to hear this.
Yeah, like some people just have this attitude, and I don't know why this is, but some people just have this attitude when it's anybody like gathering about something or like a collective view, or they're like, maybe, I guess not, protesting is something, but when people are like gathered, or people like there's a group of people that have like a shared belief or a shared thing, like they just hate them. I don't know why this is, but some people just are that way. Like, oh, there's a gathering of veterans, or there's a gathering, or maybe like a protest, but just like they're like
an
oh, this
anti-right to assembly person.
Yeah,
Oh,
like just I don't know
yes.
what it is. Just like a
gotta take
if
that
there's a
shit out the
collective of
Constitution.
anything, they hate it.
I see a lot of those people on Facebook.com.
Yes,
Yeah, true.
Also, he calls other races names.
Well, what names do you think he calls them? Do you think he's like,
I don't know.
the Indians, they're my friends? Do you think that's maybe the type of name he's calling them, or do you think it's something
I
else?
highly doubt that.
Spanish people? Oh man, I sure do love Goya.
Like he
Oh,
doesn't
man.
like disabled people either. Like,
Yeah,
what
that
the
one's
fuck?
amazing. Like,
the
what the
disabled
fuck?
people are like, fuck you say
What the
fuck
fuck did
me
we
for?
do?
Like,
Yeah. This guy
what
sucks
moment
so
was she
bad.
like, oh, I was so embarrassed when he said, nice legs, asshole, to the guy with no legs. Like, what?
Oh my god, it's awful. But the other thing I want to draw specific attention to is this like thing with the landlord where he's like, oh yeah, it's a large one. but we can have someone come by to take care of the yard. And he's like, that's a coded message. He has a big dick and he's going to fuck my wife.
That's really that's the kind of shit where it's like, oh, okay, I don't know. I can't read this and think anything else of this woman is in danger.
I can't believe he pees in bottles.
That one is like the icing on the cake, I think.
Like, what? It's so funny. It'll be like, I know this is he probably didn't do all these things before, but it is really funny to like see a post like this and it's like, he wasn't perfect. Anyway, he says the N-word with a hard R, peas in bottles, like says like my neighbor's gonna fuck me. Like, should I leave him?
He's being gang stalked by the big dick enterprise and hates disabled people. Who knows? He used to be so kind.
He's not
These days you
perfect.
can't go down the street without him making reference to a South Park bit from 2002 when he sees someone in a wheelchair.
This is why I can't remember if I referenced this on the show before, but there was I think it was a different Reddit post where it's like my husband got mad at me because he found out that I had like a separate emergency, like I can't remember what they called it. It was like a get out bin or like a leave bin or something.
Yeah, the
where
go bag.
It was like what was it called?
Well, I'm familiar with the concept. It's a go bag. Just a bag full of
go bag.
shit for a weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is why, this is a perfect example of why women have this. And like, you just don't know if the person you married is going to end up being insane. And if you're a woman, there's a lot of like really bad danger if the man you married ends up being insane. So if you wondered why women have that, I guess this post will allow you to empathize with women a little bit more. All
right, we've spent enough time on this fucking thing.
Yeah,
all right, y'all want to vote?
Yeah.
Yep.
Decision time.
When it comes to the poor, maligned gamer who is being unfairly gang stalked by the landlord big dick contingent and just has a couple of questions about people of all races,
and harassed by veterans too.
Yeah, is he the asshole? 3, 2, 1.
Yes.
Wow.
You gotta go, girl.
You
gotta go.
You gotta get out of here. Call your parents. Call them. Get out.
The council has spoken.
This next one comes from Am I the Asshole? And it's a treat.
Good.
This comes from Birthday Party Drama is the name of this one. 2 days old. Am I the asshole for excluding my daughter's, quote, best friend, end quote, from her birthday party? No. You should be allowed to kick out children. Fuck you.
No, fuck them kids, actually.
Let's see if the site that hosts r/childfree has some good insight on this one. Okay, this it actually is pretty interesting, so let's get into it.
Okay.
My 36F daughter's 13F birthday was last weekend. There's a trampoline park in town that offers sleepover parties where the kids can play for a few hours, watch a movie, then have a sleepover on the trampolines. Real quick,
that's fun.
That fucking
Cute.
kicks ass.
That kicks.
Yeah, that's cool as fuck.
If I was a kid,
would
I'd be like, that's awesome.
to do that when I was growing up.
It also beats every parent argument where you're like, I don't know, the parents home, I don't know, whatever. Now it's in a place you can like go to.
The ground is trampolines. It's unsafe. Actually, by the way, can we do that? I got a birthday coming up. Let's fucking go.
That would rock. I would do that shit.
All right, okay. When we were booking the event, she said to only book 19 places. I asked her if he was sure she wasn't missing out someone, but she assured me there were only 19 kids in her class, and I was just misremembering. Well, fast forward to the birthday, and this girl, Camilla, shows up with an entire box full of gifts. Teddy bear, perfume, candles, nail polish, flowers, chocolates. I remember picking up my daughter from school at the beginning of the school year and seeing her chatty and being very friendly with Camilla, so I assumed they were good friends. When Camilla went to hug my daughter and wish her a happy birthday, she pushed her away and told her she couldn't attend as we forgot to book her place. I apologized to Camilla and her mother and offered to talk to the people in charge and pay for it, but my daughter insisted Camilla couldn't come. Camilla started sobbing. I pulled my daughter aside and asked why Camilla couldn't join, even though they used to be friendly and she'd invited every other student in her year. She said Camilla was weird, she was obsessive and creepy, and she didn't want to be friends with her anymore. I asked her if Camilla was bullying her. She said no, she just didn't want to be around her. Camilla's mother had found out through the party through another parent, and Camilla decided to surprise my daughter, knowing she hadn't been given an invite. I returned the gifts to Camilla, I apologized again, and I told her that there weren't enough spaces. Her mother started screaming at me and telling me I was a grown adult woman bullying a preteen girl. I told her it was my daughter's birthday party. She could invite whoever she wanted. She accused me of raising my daughter to be a bully and that she couldn't just invite the entire class and exclude one. She claimed Camilla was my daughter's best friend and she had a right to be invited. I told her my daughter's a teenager, not a 5-year-old. She can't be forced to invite the entire class just to be nice. I said I didn't want to raise a doormat. I didn't want to teach her the value of the feelings of others at the expense of her own, and if my daughter felt uncomfortable around someone, I prioritize her well-being over that of a stranger's. Camilla's mother is talking to the teachers to punish my daughter for bullying. I tried to explain to her that my daughter was setting boundaries. She shouldn't have to face consequences, though Camilla's mother said that I was an evil bitch who took joy in bullying little girls. Am I the asshole?
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't
Whoa.
expect one where you'd actually have to think today, huh? It's a little more nuanced.
I was
This
hoping
one's
for
tough.
3 sleepers. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Oh, who wants to start?
Let me maybe, I've been with this post the longest. Maybe I can.
Sure.
Yeah,
riff
okay,
a
sure.
little?
Why don't you take it away?
Okay, so first and foremost, I think we all have probably had an experience with a girl like Camilla that like maybe is a little too excited to hang out, and like you do kind of have to set some boundaries with, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
This is a type of archetype of person, especially young children. That's not too uncommon. I understand the girl being like, no, if we invite Camilla, she's going to be all over me and then I won't be able to hang out with anyone else. And it's like, I don't really like this person, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And I think the response from both parents is really bad. The one parent is trying to do like HR speak where they're like, oh, she's just setting a boundary. And the other one is like, you evil bitch, you hate little girls. And I think really the worst people in this entire thing are probably the parents.
The parents,
Yeah, definitely.
Who are
Absolutely.
waging this
Many
functional
such cases.
proxy war over this birthday party. You know, all that aside, what we are squabbling about is a birthday party in which one girl invited every single member of the class except one.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry. I know that, you know, you shouldn't have to prioritize the well-being of other children over your own or whatever, but like you have to invite the whole class if you're going to invite 19 of them. You can't can't single out one, and if they show up, you're just going to have to grin and bear it. I think it says in the post that the mom found out about the party from someone else and was like, "Ooh, I'll surprise her." Terrible decision. It was just fishing for this altercation to happen. But like the polite thing to do, I think, would be if you're the parent and you're suspicious your child is, as this parent was, hiding a secret 20th child in the class, you should reach out to the parent of that child and see if the pair of you can figure out a way to make this work, because there are no good outcomes to this. If the girl ever finds out there was a party, then she's going to be immediately distraught. Which is going to happen because there were 19 people at it. If she shows up and is turned away, she's going to be distraught. It's just like, it is a tense, rough situation, but I can't come down on the side of the person who's like, hey, you know, maybe the 20th kid simply has bad vibes. You ever think about that?
Yeah, it's tough because you do want to allow your child to be able to set those boundaries, to lean into the HR speak for a second, where it's like, I really just don't get along with this person. They kind of make me feel weird or whatever. Like, yeah, you don't want to just be like, no, you have to allow this person to join this party. But on the other hand, when it is this the context of there is a 20-person class and your daughter has specifically excluded one person, you have to talk to your daughter about what that means. So what you are doing is, regardless of if you like them or not, you are specifically excluding one person. You are bullying. You are bullying right now. That is what you are doing.
Yep.
So even though you want to allow your daughter to make these choices and be around people they want to be around, that whole goal is just like out the window when you realize that you are specifically excluding one person. You are enabling your daughter to be a bully at this point.
I agree. I think this is one of those rare posts, not rare, I guess it happens more often than I expect, but one of those posts where you read it and at first they do a really good job of making themselves sound like the victim, right? Like the Chad Wojak, and you know the mother was the crying soy jack, and can you believe this?
Yeah.
And you know she writes this in a way that's like, well, you know, like I don't want to make my daughter choose someone who's uncomfortable. I take care about her safety. And you're all like, you know, at first when I'm reading this, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Of course. And then I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. Wait a second. because, you're brought back to reality when you realize that the class is 20 people. 20 people. This is not a public school with hundreds, maybe 200, 300, 400 of your high school class, which is more normal, right? I'll just make a big general assumption that public school or a different school of bigger size will tend to have a much larger class, right? But this is something I actually empathize with a lot because I graduated with a class of max 8 people. I had 8 people in my senior year. And I'm like, this is not high school. Obviously, this is like 8th grade. But if I was found out that everyone in my class was invited to like a birthday or some kind of event and I was excluded because of that person, I'd be like, wow, that person hates me and wants everyone to hate me. Like, that's crazy. I have to leave. Mom, I don't want to be at this school anymore. They had a party and they invited everyone but me. It sounds like a TV show. It sounds like I'm in a sitcom. And like, that's what it is, right? This is like a sitcom style, like, Janie invited everyone except you. So why don't you get your chest checked? And it's like, fucking Disney Channel style, like, cry in room and then beat the bully at the end. That's how ridiculous this is, right?
Yeah, it really does get every other kid in the class involved in excluding this person too, right? Because they're all gonna know that she's not there.
You make every other kid be like,
man, that really sucks.
Camilla, like, am I involved in this crime? Like, and again, not to defend the parents here. Both parents, obviously the parent who's posting this makes herself sound like the righteous angel, but come on, be real. And obviously the parent who's freaking out, calling her an evil bitch who took joy in bullying little girls. Relax. Okay. Chill. This is about kids who birthday parties. Calm down. Like, it's not that big of a deal, but, not to defend the parents who are obviously making this worse. Come on. I think it's annoying because I get it. I know you want your kid to be like, comfortable for their birthday. It's their birthday. Should be able to do whatever they want, right? And in theory, but you're reaching ridiculous territory, and we got to talk.
I don't know. How would you want the other parent to
call
act,
the mom an evil bitch who takes joy in bullying little girls? Be real.
That's probably wrong.
That's not true. Shut up.
I mean, yeah, okay, that was a bit over the top. Sure. Yeah, it's over the top. I get it. But like, I don't know. If I was that girl's mom, I'd be upset.
She's allowed to be upset, for sure. You could be like, listen, I'm going to be straight with you. I'm upset. This is practically bullying my child. I know you're not trying to bully them. Okay. I know this is through our kids, but you got to understand how my child feels. That's how you approach this, not you take joy in this, you evil scoundrel. You're pretty much an evil villain. Right. Like, come on.
Okay, so as we kind of think about this a little more, I'm actually, I don't know if I'm like changing my opinion, but I am. I don't know if I can even come to a decision about this, because like, let's say that we come down on the side of Camilla and we go, okay, well, this girl shouldn't be excluded, right? So logistically, what does including her look like? I mean, she goes to the party, right? Yeah. But the girls clearly don't like her. So they're just going to exclude her through their little cliquey hierarchy anyway, or they'll bully her. So is that like better? And then like, there's definitely extra stuff going on here. The mom, there's a comment where they says the mom finds out through like a mutual friend that the party is happening. And tells the daughter that they can go and surprise her, right? The daughter didn't know that there was an invitation. And then they show up with what is described as like an entire box of gifts. And it's like, okay, like, what's going on here? Like, the mom is like,
happening? It
almost feels like Camilla's mom has engineered a scenario where you'll look like a freak for telling Camilla to go away, right? Insofar as, well, we got you this whole box of nail polish and candles, all things that 13-year-olds would get for other 13-year-olds, by the way. And then she makes this big scene about how she hates children. And then it almost feels like the other parent has sort of entered this scenario where the only option is to be like, sorry, like, my child wants to set boundaries. Like it's really weird. Like there's definitely something going on here.
Yeah, as Camilla's parent, like the thing that I've learned over the years, I guess, from, I don't know, I don't have kids, but something I kind of is in my mind is like, you can't force your kid to like another kid, right? That's just not going to happen. You can't force your kid to be friends with somebody that they don't like, you know? So in Camilla's parent situation, the fact that you figured out that your kid was not invited to the party where all the other kids were invited, like, do you still like try to force your kid to be involved? Because like you said, Joseph, like they're just going to get actively bullied there now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh,
I don't know. I feel like both parents need to do a better job in figuring out what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my God.
100%.
Yes.
The one girl is like, oh, Camilla's kind of like creepy and obsessive. So your question should be, what do you mean by that? Like, what?
Yes.
Can you kind of walk
What
me
are the
through
examples here?
Like, oh, what's she doing? Like, is she making you feel uncomfortable? How, stuff like that. And, 13-year-olds, they're okay at lying, but they're not fantastic. I mean, I think you'll get to the bottom of it pretty quick as to whether your daughter is just like actively bullying this girl or like this girl is like a functionally a stalker. And alternatively, I think Camilla's parents need to be like, when you say this girl is your best friend, what do you mean? Do you hang out a lot? And the parents need to have a discussion with each other about it. It's one of those situations that I feel like really can only be resolved by doing a bunch of research, right? Like, you can't just operate on vibes for this one.
Parenting seems hard.
Yeah, it's
man.
really, not to be like women, but women. Every scenario I was ever in where something similar to this happened at like a school sanctioned birthday party was almost immediately resolved by being like, get this kid that no one really likes in like a 4-player like Halo split screen. And then like there's a cap on the amount of damage they can do. It's like, okay, done. Like, what's the... I don't know. It's... Oh, man.
I think that most of the problem stems from this, like, I really am reading this again and feeling like the poster, like this mother is like so... You ever read a poster and you're like, why is this crafted so kind of like perfectly for you? You know what I mean? Like you read this and you really are like, oh, this is like everything you did is perfect. Nothing went wrong. And everything they did is the crazy.
Like the statement where she's like, I was pretty sure there were 20, but my 13-year-old said there were 19 and I was just remembering. It's like, okay, so you want us to gloss over that. But what you're telling us here is I got gaslit by a preteen and didn't go check. Like,
yes.
Go check. Like, come on.
Like what? It's okay.
Right.
Is it 19? Is it 20? Well, let me go check. You go check as a normal person would. It's 20. You say, to your daughter, I found 20. There's 20 kids. I just checked the records. What's going on? Why did you lie to me? I mean, is there a reason? Because she just lied to you. Your kid just lied to you about it, right? Like she's trying to figure out this problem. And the only way she did it was like, oh, well, like, it's okay that she lied to me. It's because this girl is creepy. Like, what? You're like, oh, well, the bad vibes are there, so she can actually just do whatever she wants. What's going on?
Do you think we live in a world where kids' interpersonal conflicts can be resolved by the parents meeting together for coffee? I want to live in that world. I don't know if that world exists.
Let me be honest here. I don't think these two parents talking with each other are going to resolve the conflict. But I think they're going to, at minimum, figure out like, okay, how do we navigate the situation of this girl is not invited to the party?
I just long for a world where people can just, I'm going to get a little existential here, but like, I'm reading something like this and I just think like I would want to talk to their parents, even not being friends with their parents, but just like, okay, our kids are clearly having a problem. Let's just talk for a while, let's sit out on my patio or my porch and just chat. Does that exist?
No, not really.
I
get it.
I long for a world where talking just fixes everything.
The problem is that when it involves your kid, all rationality goes out the window, right? Like,
I know
you're just like you get so hyper defensive. Or
how do you explain to this woman hey, I would like your child to be at this place. I think my daughter excluded her, but if she is let in, they're just going to bully her for an entire evening. Like, how do you do that? It's
hard. God, what a good scenario. I mean, obviously the scenario sucks, but to just think about like,
this is a stinker. This is
know.
definitely a stinker.
Y'all ready to like vote maybe?
I think so.
Yeah, we've been on this one a while, so I guess let's vote.
Decision time.
All right. Jordan, when it comes to the parent of the exclusionary child, the OP of am I the asshole for excluding my daughter's best friend? Do you think they are an asshole?
Okay, our mission here, I gotta remind myself, our mission here is to determine if the poster is the asshole or an asshole or not. Or really, they're the asshole is the mission here. Oh, dude. Why'd you make me vote first? I can't lean on you for my decision making. I'm going to put my stake in the ground here and say that this woman is the asshole. And the reason I'm saying that is because the way they navigated this is not investigative at all. They just were like, well, my daughter is excluding this one person. And honestly, I think the excluding of the child from the party is going to do more damage than including them would. And I think that she should have navigated this in such a way where she tries to figure out why her daughter is bullying this girl, you know, and not just like, well, why don't you like them? But like actually telling them like, you know, what you're doing is bullying, you know, and what the effects of this is going to, like, you have to have a better conversation with your daughter about what the downfall of this is going to be. So yes, I think this woman is the asshole.
Danny?
Oh, Lord. I really feel for the small class here. And I just cannot see myself siding with this woman, this poster. And to really look at this objectively, I cannot call this person nice. I have to say that this poster is the asshole. There's a lot of ifs, there's a lot of buts, there's a lot of questions, a lot of left out information. And I think that we know that her daughter lies, she lies, and this is clearly not a straightforward situation. And they have gone out of this way, both the daughter and then subsequently the mother, to, you know, either on purpose or by accident, bully this one girl. And I cannot for the life of me say that they're nice. So I'm gonna agree that this poster's the asshole. 100%.
I think I have to disagree. And I think it's just because logistically I can't see it working from the position of like, she showed up and I didn't know. I think that maybe she could have done more to investigate, but I don't know. I don't feel like right now I have enough information to definitively call the mom an asshole.
Yeah, that's fair. It's fair. It's fair. I'm going to get, because you know what? Honestly, this is the one that I'm probably, out of all of the situations we've talked about, this is the one that I'm most like on the fence about. I think I'm going to be thinking about this one for a while. I wouldn't be surprised if we come back to this one on a later episode. I'm going to be real with you.
It's definitely like
Seriously.
When I have a child, I will be thinking about this post constantly.
Constantly. Yeah. This is like setting me up for parenthood.
I just like, I feel like I just can't not have my own experiences in this because like I was actually the girl. No, the small class experience is not common, right? Like it's a very rare thing for things to occur. 20 people in your class means that it's do or die mode when it comes to making friends. And if there's one person in my head, I'm imagining him, one person you don't like, holy shit, your school life is imaginably worse because you cannot hide. You cannot just make new friends. They're the only ones unless you like are allowed to share with other grades or whatever. And even then, obviously it sounds small. So like there's just too much lying, too much deceit, too much like my daughter is the perfect and your daughter sucks ass. And I'm just like, I can't do it.
Oh, okay. 2-1.
The council has spoken.
This third one is called, Am I the asshole for telling my wife that she seriously needs to work on her mental and physical toughness?
No. Next question.
What the fuck is this? What is
Tough it up,
yes, the next
sunshine.
question.
Okay, this
Tough
one's,
it up, woman.
this one's a little interesting.
Awful.
My wife, 32F, and I, 34M, went to the gym yesterday morning, and at some point my wife, we'll call her Laura, scratched her finger on something. Laura has a history of being selectively sensitive to pain and discomfort. She is a strong and capable woman that I love, but if it's 80 degrees with a breeze, Laura will talk herself into it being too cold to stay outside. The joke between us is she is like the princess in the Princess and the Pea story. These things happen often. I am not exaggerating in the slightest when I say this cut was less than half a centimeter wide and 2 millimeters across. Surface level, no larger than a paper cut. Later that night, she remembered the cut and had what I would describe as a meltdown. She said her finger was throbbing, she was nauseous from the pain, and it was becoming too much to bear. I said, well, I could clean it with hydrogen peroxide. First off, great decision for your wife that's freaking out over the pain of a paper cut.
Doesn't that even not work? Isn't that like a... I can't remember.
People keep
I thought I
telling
read
me that
somewhere
it's no
like,
longer recommended. I don't believe it. I literally don't believe it.
Yeah, wait, I'll take the old guy stance on this. I like that it bubbles. It makes me feel like something's happening.
I saw some
Is this
people
a
being
dumb
like,
guy opinion?
actually, hydrogen peroxide can burn the skin around the cut, which can elongate the time that it's going to take to seal up. I'm like, I don't fucking care. That's not what I'm putting it on for. I'm putting it on, then I'm putting on a Band-Aid, and it's going to heal on its own schedule. I'm putting it on so there's no bacteria in the wound, right? Am I crazy? Okay. These liberals are trying to cancel hydrogen peroxide.
You know, at least I'm not the only one that just believes stuff because
Google AI,
reasons.
tell me if
Like,
this is wrong.
She said it would hurt too much. I said it bubbles, but it doesn't burn like alcohol. Unfortunately, that is a lie. It does burn.
Wait, that's a lie. It definitely burns.
yeah, it
As a
does
guy
hurt.
who
What the
likes the hydrogen peroxide, it burns like shit.
You need to clean it if you cut it on gym equipment because that's dirty. Unfortunately, also very true. As soon as I put a few drops of hydrogen peroxide on it, she collapsed to her knees and said she could not continue.
Okay,
I
this
admit
movie
I got a little
rocks.
upset at the theatric,
Okay.
but it was nothing new at this point. I rinsed the wound in the sink while she was on her knees crying, and I told her I was going to get Neosporin and a Band-Aid. She begged me not to put on Neosporin. I said, no, Neosporin doesn't cause pain. In fact, it's a relief agent. When I put it on, she yelled and nearly fainted.
That's
At this
awesome.
point, I was a little upset and potentially the asshole. I tried to explain to Laura that her body was very resilient. She's a tough person because I've seen it in our workouts and the way she can work through brutal work challenges and environments. But she needs to work on her psychological hang-ups to discomfort like this. We plan to have kids in the next couple of years, and in all honesty, I don't think she can handle childbirth. I said it's something we can work on together, but to start, she will have to get serious and adopt the mentality her body can handle a lot. I told her it's upsetting that she seems to give up and surrender to any pain, like she has no will to shake it off. What example would we be setting for our child? What would happen if you were injured and needed to get help without me? We ended up getting into an argument about this. I feel like the asshole, but I don't know how I could have approached this differently. What are we thinking about this one, Chad?
What is
Oh
going
my
on?
gosh.
This is one that I think we may come to a different consensus on just by virtue of being men. Like, this is one of those scenarios where I'm like, we should have had a woman on for this one.
That's true. I
Yeah.
can call one right now.
Oh,
I feel like I need to
women
get my
on
wife
call.
in here because, like, on my first brush reading this, you even heard me. I was like, oh, fuck off, dude. And, like, I don't know. I love protecting my, precious princess. Oh, you're cold. Let me get you a sweater.
Oh, my baby.
Oh, your throat feels weird after you ate something. Let me look at you.
You
Okay. I swear you're not having an allergic
I love
reaction.
you,
know.
mama.
Yeah, like, but come on. It's a cut.
We all
Like,
understand that impulse, but she screamed when he put on Neosporin.
I know.
I almost
man,
fainted.
but
You
like-
put on
I
Neosporin.
think
You know what
women
it was?
can do
I
anything.
guarantee you, I know what it was. It's the Neosporin was cold. She was like expecting a sharp pain. You put the Neosporin on, it's a little cold, and you go, oh, but it's a topical pain relief agent. It's not like, oh my god.
I like that she collapsed to her knees.
This is
I can't
ridiculous.
continue.
We must protect our queens, but oh my god, you gotta just hold yourself together. Oh, this is hard.
I like the
don't
part
know.
where he's like, she remembered the cut. Like it hadn't been bothering her, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I got that cut. Oh, I'm gonna die."
Oh, it's my normal mode is to hate men.
Okay.
So
Like,
crazy.
is this like a mental thing?
Yes.
That's the
Yeah.
thing I'm
Right.
dancing
Like
around.
this sounds like something's wrong psychologically.
What's wrong psychologically is that she has an IQ of 10,000 and she feels pain to a degree and a level that no one could comprehend. Your brain has neurologic dampeners that prevent you from feeling pain. It's why you go into shock when your arm is cut off. You don't even feel it for a little bit because your brain simply suppresses that function so you don't go insane. But she lacks that ability, and as a result, she simply feels the pain of a paper cut. Each individual cell bifurcated by the fucking CrossFit equipment. She can't handle it, man.
You guys ever been with a high pain tolerance girly? Like a girl that's like, actually, I have a high pain tolerance. I don't even care. As a woman, I'm an alpha woman, and my pain tolerance is higher. We give birth to children.
They sure do love telling you about it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I know.
Like, no,
but you know what? Good for them.
That's
stronger than I am.
You rock, actually.
Hell yeah,
It's
queen.
like, oh yeah, that's great. I have a really low pain tolerance, so I'm gonna cry like a
I'm
bitch at
baby.
everything.
Like I get a tummy ache and I go, oh shoot.
Well, the problem. Do you think this woman would be able to survive the debilitating pain of a male tummy ache?
No,
I think
that
she'd
shit would
die
kill
on the
She
her.
would throw herself off a cliff.
Oh
She
my
would,
god.
like-
Oh, when I have a cold, nah, that shit's over. I am in bed for like 24 hours. When I have a cold, nah, I'm out.
Okay, there are some people in the comments that are speculating that the wife has some sort of like rare neurological condition that causes her to feel pain at a greater scale. Okay, I will say that is not what's happening here. You are just being Redditors. There's no fucking shot that she has the secret disease that makes her feel pain worse. But if she does, then you need to go to a doctor and start some sort of treatment plan for that, because you can't go through life like this. It's just not going to work out.
You can't live like this.
I cut myself on like my hand the other day, and it took me like 2 to 3 minutes, and I look at my hand and I'm like, damn, I'm bleeding. When that happened?
Yeah. Like, what if she gets like an ingrown nail? You know? You remember like an ingrown fingernail?
No!
That shit
She just
sucks
dies.
ass.
Oh my goodness.
Like, you bump your finger on something and you're like, fuck! You know? Like, that sucks. Like, but you still go through life. Like, nah, I gotta call into work because I can't type on my keyboard because of my ingrown nail. Like, yeah, it hurts a little bit, but just type with different fingers.
Can we
Like,
talk
you have
about
to
how
live.
she remembered the pain?
Yeah,
10
she was like,
hours
oh shit, I got
later?
that cut. Whoa.
Oh, remember that cut I got? Oh.
You know how I talked about how like the body has the ability to put you into shock when something terrible happens to it? Maybe that's what happened when she got the paper cut. And hours later, she was like, now I'm oh, she felt it like Goku when Ultra Instinct catches up to him. It's like, da, 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 da.
I'm very JoJo brain, so your Dio stop time like just punches you 30 times and then you go back like, oh.
Oh my god. Oh, it's terrible. Okay. So I will say, I think that the way this guy has worded the title of this post makes him sound like he said, toughen up. But I think what he said to the wife is pretty good. It's like, listen, you can handle a lot. I know you can handle a lot. You're a very strong, determined woman. But this type of thing really scares me. You know, what happens when our kid gets hurt and needs to be able to rely on you? What happens if you get injured and I'm not around? I think those are like fine things to say. I don't think he's like, toughen up, buttercup. This world ain't fair.
Yeah, let me rub some dirt on it. Take a salt tablet,
It's
you know,
such a
like
bad answer to be like, oh, you gotta toughen up your psyche, babe. Like, dude, shut up.
Oh my god. I think we can all agree that it is completely fine for women to get a little dramatic and when they get hurt.
And men, dude, I have massive tummy aches, bro.
It's fine for men. It's fine for people to
It's
get
fine
dramatic.
to get dramatic. When you get hurt, there has to be a cap.
Yeah.
There has to be a cap, and we are way beyond that.
Yeah. You do gotta rein
Get
it
my
in.
leg cut off. Toughen up, buttercup. Shut up. You
One
would
day,
last
if I
the
get
war.
my arm cut off or something, I'm gonna try and make a mental note to first thing be like, well, life ain't fair.
Yeah.
Take me to the ER.
I cut my finger. Google, does this hurt?
try and glue your arm
And
back
then
on.
screaming when Google tells you you have cancer or something.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yes, it should hurt. Owie!
I don't know. I think, Joseph, you've hit the nail on the head when it comes to like, yeah, you can be dramatic about it, but there is a cap on the theatrics here. Like, you do have to.
Okay,
like,
I have been a
have to
good
live
boy,
normal.
and I have not read the edit for context.
Is there an edit?
Yeah, there is an
Oh.
edit and context. Can we read it?
Yeah. All right. This says edit context. First, I would like to thank everyone for sharing their thoughts and suggestions. Second, I would like to clarify, I am one of those lucky few that married someone they consider their soulmate. Okay, you don't need to rub it in.
All right, man. Chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations, asshole. You know, some of
Yeah.
us settled.
This is Reddit,
It's
okay?
like-
Take your nice
What
relationship
You can't,
somewhere
Joseph.
else.
You can't say that, Joseph. You
Like, what do you want as a response to that? I married my soulmate. It's like, yeah, we all did, dickhead.
yeah, like.
All right, okay. Despite my comments coming across as callous and patronizing, I love and care for my wife tremendously. I don't believe she sees it that way. However, I'm here for that outside perspective. I'll be with my wife until I'm dead or she finds someone better, even if that means carrying her around for the next 80 years. Lastly, while we have visited doctors in the past, we may have not placed enough value on getting another opinion. It's something I'll bring up with my wife again. I do not typically hold an opinion when it comes to my wife's medical care. I believe I may have an old-fashioned approach to doctors as I have had bad experiences with misdiagnosis over prescribed treatments. My attitude when it comes to my wife has been to get the care she thinks she needs, as I cannot make that decision for her. We both acknowledge there are differences in the way we pursue medical care. I've never suggested her symptoms or desire to meet with a doctor were not legitimate. When she had not gotten to a diagnosis from doctors and they suggested treating it like it was nervousness or anxiety, we both considered it psychological, a pain in the ass, but not serious and something we could work on. As my post here would suggest, that is easier said than done. It's a huge gray area trying to figure out if you are being too controlling or you are being enabling. Also, my wife does not have red hair. This is in response to a significant amount of comments that may have speculated about a trope about people with red hair.
What?
And also,
I
What the
love
fuck?
Reddit.
I hate Reddit
I
so
love
much.
Reddit so much.
TIL, hydrogen peroxide is no longer recommended for cleaning wounds. Okay, first off, fucking walk that one back, dog.
you.
It's literally a lie. We just discussed it scientifically.
I
I'm-
don't believe it.
okay,
Not
sure.
true. I'm closing my ears.
I love this. It's like, actually, it bubbles, therefore good.
Yeah,
They're
it's
like,
literally
good
true.
job, guys.
I would have been one of those guys who was rubbing like your Curachrome on people until like 2020. Like,
Yeah, you still like use leeches.
yeah. Okay. I don't know. I think this edit is pretty good.
Yeah, like that's the thing. It's like he's clearly not like, I'm a huge dick and I think my wife should nut up and grow
No,
a
he,
pair.
he seems
Like,
very
no,
loving.
He's just like, can you please like act like a normal
Yeah, no, like I'm sorry. Like the Neosporin, I'm
Ugh.
like, you're ridiculous.
I think a lot of people, and I'll just give the game away here, Reddit has classified this guy as the asshole with the big bright red asshole tag. And it's like, I think a lot of people gave that to him because he talked about the hydrogen peroxide.
And they wanted to actually him. They saw an opportunity to do a little Reddit correction and they were like, "Hey, you're an
Yeah.
asshole for using an inferior cleaning agent."
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, even though we know it doesn't work, like I think they
But it
were
does
all
work.
like, they couldn't wait to dunk on him about this.
Yeah,
But
why are they dunking
legitimately,
on him?
I don't think it's wrong to be like, honey, what can we do to bring you up to normal functioning human status? Because with this, you are not there.
Yeah. All right, we want to vote
this
on
is
this.
tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Decision time.
Jordan, when it comes to the disgusting subhuman hydrogen peroxide addicted husband, is he the asshole?
I can't. He's not the asshole. Like there are so many things that could have pushed him over the asshole line in this situation, and I can't believe it, but he's dodged them all, you know?
Yep.
Like very man W, I guess. I don't know. He's
Man W.
not in the wrong. He's not an asshole for being like, okay, we have to do something about this. How do I help you? You know, that's at least where his head is at, and I think that's a good place to be. So no, he's not the asshole.
Danny.
You know what? I was with him until he said hydrogen peroxide is no longer recommended for cleaning wounds. I'm out. No, jokes aside, this guy is not the asshole. It's no way. I was like, because, you know, Reddit kind of tricked me a bit. You know, you get the asshole flare. I'm like, really? Is this guy a jerk? I guess I'll wait and see. And I just don't understand, because while I definitely get maybe he was, I don't know, a little abrasive, maybe a little too straightforward, but it doesn't seem out of malice or evil or mean. It's very loving and quite frankly very normal to be like, what the hell? Kids get cuts like this. It's like, what's going on? Very normal reaction, and I think he's not an asshole for being like, I love her. I want her to go to childbirth. Like, I'm worried about her. I'm worried about her future. What should we do? Absolutely normal to start thinking about this. Talk to your wife, and he's doing that, and he's doing all the good things. Not an asshole to me.
Yeah, no, I'm not an asshole too, but I feel like you got to get this checked out.
Yeah, what?
It's kind of how children respond to getting hurt.
Yeah, like, you know how when
Yeah.
you like see a kid and they get hurt and they look at you for the reaction, and like if you acknowledge them, they'll start crying. But if you're just like big chilling and you don't really like think about it, they'll just be like, whatever, and they'll keep moving on.
Yeah, kids are invincible if you don't react to what they do.
That's how I feel
All right.
about this woman.
I'm,
she like hits her finger. She looks at her husband and he goes, and she goes, "Ah!"
Oh no.
Honey, I'm sorry. This story rocks. I think women can do anything.
I'm gonna start doing that now. I'm
Oh
gonna
my
bump
God.
my head on like a cupboard, and then I'm gonna look at my wife, and she's gonna go,
Are you okay?
Ooh, and then I'm just gonna
Yeah,
bawl
I'm
on
gonna
the floor.
cry.
The council has spoken.
All right. I think that's just about it.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for having me
Bye.
back.
Bye, everybody.
Yay.
No closing thoughts from me. This is a good one.
Google, should I be on the podcast more? No.